guys here. We're going to do a very basic lab. Decided to do this for the people that are probably just starting out or just confused. If you come across a question, whether it be in your school or a certification, which I doubt, or anything of the like, you know, and anywhere you're doing labbing, this is a very simple topology. You have three networks. You have the 1.0, 2.0, and then 10.1.1.4, which is a subnetted class A, right? So the IP addresses are already in there. I'll show you. Okay, there they are, 1.1, 1.254. No surprise there. It's a set of 24. And then over here, we have 2.1 and 2.4. We're using a 24-bit mask. I've already checked the, well, I'll check it again so you can see ping 192.168.1.2, sorry, I'm in the 2.254. And we have connectivity, right? We have connectivity here. And you know, that's one thing you always want to check for is connectivity. Config, not config T, whoops, not in the router yet. Ping 192.168.1.254. Okay, and then you get ping. So you can ping to your gateway. Then you get to your router. And you want to at least make sure that you can ping, have a TCP connection with your neighbor router, right? So you want to ping 10.1.1.6. Now you ask me, how do I know these addresses? Because I configured this lab, right? So I know what IP addresses I put. This would be a 10.115, the other one's 10.1.6. We got a reply. So we do have connectivity, at least with our directly connected neighbors. Now in a small lab like this, where we have a point-to-point connection, I didn't say network type, so be careful when you start getting into OSPF and all these things. This is just a point-to-point connection, two routers connected to each other. These would be considered stub routers, one way in, one way out of the network. You can basically just use a default route. That would be the quickest, most easiest way to do it, which basically means, hey, listen, this computer wants to get over here, but it can't, right? You're gonna send information over here, but you can't. Because why? Because you're not in the routing table. So you do a show IP route. Right, and let's open it up so you can see it clearly. The 2.0 network does not exist. I only know about my connected neighbors, right? Who do I know about? You know about this guy and this guy. You have no idea that this guy exists. So instead of creating static routes, which is not going to be very lengthy, right, for actual static routes, creating the routing table from scratch, you just create a default route. It's the gateway of last resort, which basically says, hey, listen, I don't have that information you want on the routing table, but if you send it to my neighbor, he may know. Okay, so let's go. Let's first ping across so you can see that we can't get there. Ping 192.168.2.1, all right? And you see it says unreachable. All right, so we're gonna come here. Now remember that, it said unreachable. All right, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to do a default route. I'm going to tell this router, because right now the gateway of last resort is not set, I'm going to create that. That's what a default route is. IP route, I'm going to match any network with any mask and just send it to my neighbor, 10.1.1.6, because, hey, he may know where to go. Okay, do WR or copy run start. All right, however you want to do it. And then you can do a do show IP route again. And there you see you have a default candidate or a candidate default static route. That's what S stands for. Where's S? Here's S, static, and the asterisk is candidate default, and that's what you see here. Okay? Send everything to my neighbor, don't drop it. Okay, so we did it on one side. Let's see what happens now. This is what we got before. We got, well, that's when we first ping. Then we try to ping all the way across. It says unreachable. Now we try to get across. Let's see, we get a different message. See, it's taking its time. Oh, well, it's not unreachable now. Now it just says request timeout because it didn't drop it here, right? It actually did make it. He said, hey, just send it over. So he got to this guy. He sent this router, send the ARP down. When he sent the reply, he sent the reply to get back to this network. Well, this router doesn't have anything in its routing table for this network over here. Right? If you do enable, show IP route, there's nothing there. So, but he doesn't have the gateway of last resort. So what happened? So the packet did make it over here. It made it all the way to the PC. But on the return trip, this router said, I don't know where that's at. So he sends a request timeout. So the packet got lost on the way back because you got to do it in both directions, the default route. See, gateway, oops. gateway of last resort is not set. Okay, so let's go ahead and set it. Config T, IP route 0000, any network, any mask, just send it to my neighbor, okay? He knows. All right, cool. So now that we got that, this is our favorite button in the packet tracer. Fast forward through time. So now let's ping again. So the first time we can ping our we can ping our gateway, right? Second time we try to ping across, we couldn't. We got our destination host unreachable. Third time, because we configured a default route here, we got to request that out. Packet got lost on the way back. Now we get actual replies because now it knows. It's send it across. I don't got it in my routing table. I'm going to send it to my neighbor. He's going to send it down to the computer. The computer said, okay, here's your reply. Going back up, that needs to go to the 1.0, okay? He goes, well, I don't have the 1.0, but I got a gateway of last resort to send it to my neighbor. So he sends it to the neighbor. Neighbor says, oh, I know where the 1.0 network is. It's right below me. And then boom, connectivity using a default static route. Very simple. Configuration is easy. It's not about just the configuration. It's about the concept. On something this small, this simple, all right, why make your life hard? Okay, work smarter, not harder. A default route will take care of that issue. 1, 2, 3. And for testing purposes, yeah, that's what they're looking for. What's the quickest, fastest way you can get routing established in a small network like this? Static, actual static routes, or in this scenario, a default route is all you need. See you next time.